Today I'm going to show you guys how to install the Tusk UTV folding glass windshield on your Kawasaki KRX 1000. It's going to be the same process for the 2 and the 4-seaters, and this is the premium option for windshields from Tusk. So you're getting a lot of versatility with this. You can run it in the up position. It's going to give you that protection you're looking for. You've got a windshield wiper to help clean things off when they get dirty, and a vent at the bottom to let some airflow into the cab. But if you're ever out on a really hot day and you want maximum airflow in your cab, you can simply fold this down and it securely mounts to the hood. This is laminated safety auto glass, so it's going to stay looking good for a long time, and it's scratch resistant. Now, as far as installation goes, it's pretty simple to do. Let's get started. We need to prep some brackets for both our windshield and our mirrors. So with these, we have the L brackets for the windshield. This is how you want them to look on each side, facing in. And then with the mirror mounts, these actually have a bend on them with these 2 holes at the bottom. And then the bend is also going to curve into the cab as well on both sides. And the stock bolts, they're going to take a 17mm socket, and the new ones are going to use a 19. Now we're going to take the M12 bolt that came with the windshield kit. We've got our washer on there, and we're going to go through the mirror mount. Then we have the L bracket that's going to slide on there. And then after that, we've got our spacer, and then we're going to thread this into the A-pillar. It might help to use an alignment punch to get these holes lined up. Now we're going to use a 19mm socket to tighten this hardware down. And with these brackets, if we need to adjust them later, we can always loosen this stuff back up and make our adjustments. And then we'll do those same steps on the other side. Next, we're going to install the mirrors. So to do that, we've got the longer bolt that came with them. You go through the mirror mount, then you've got your standoff or spacer. You're going to need a 13mm socket. Loosen up that bolt on the end. We will reuse that serrated washer. So I'll set that next to the spacer, and then we're going to thread that bolt into the mirror. And as you tighten everything down, you want to make sure the spacer is lined up with the mirror. Then you can make your final adjustments where you want it and tighten the bolt down. And then we'll do the same steps with the other mirror. Next, you need to prep your filler panel. We're just going to use the foam tape. You're going to cut it into 3 pieces and just go along that bottom edge where the folding glass windshield sits against it. Now to prep the folding glass windshield, we're going to install the bulb sill first. We've got 3 pieces, and the longer pieces are going to go on the outsides, and the shorter piece is going to go along the middle. So we're going to go ahead and push all 3 pieces on. Now as you put this on, it should be a snug fit as is, but if you need a tighter fit at any point, you can simply pinch this together. Now we need to assemble the vent door hardware. So I'm going to start with bracket A and bracket C. You want to sit them just like that. And then we have the button head bolts. These are going to come from the front side of the windshield, and then we'll install the nylock nuts on the back. And we're going to leave all the hardware loose for now. After that, you want to attach bracket B with a button head bolt and again a nylock nut. And then we're going to take our hand knob and our friction washer. I'm going to slide the hand knob into the slot in bracket B. We've got the friction washer on the other side, and we'll screw that into bracket A. So I'm going to tighten that down until I barely have friction, and then back that off just a little bit, and then we can adjust these brackets and tighten them down. Now keep in mind this bottom mount, we only want to tighten this nut until it lightly seats and then back it off about 1/8 of a turn. So once you have all the hardware tightened down, you want to loosen up the knob and make sure the door opens and closes smoothly. If it doesn't, you want to go back in and make adjustments. Now for the windshield wiper, we've got our mount. We've taken 1 nut, washer, and grommet off. We're going to put the other end of this through the windshield, and we'll reinstall those pieces, and we're going to use a 17mm wrench and a crescent wrench to snug these 2 nuts down. Next, we're going to take the knob. I'm going to go through the backside, and you want to make sure this is lined up with your wiper arm once you have everything assembled. This arm is spring loaded, so we're going to have to push this on. Then we're going to install the nut and tighten it down. Once you've done that, you can reinstall that cover, and then we're going to bring this over to the machine. Next, we're going to install the filler panel. To do that, we're using the M6 by 20mm bolts. We'll go through the filler panel, through that gusset in the frame, and then we've got a washer and a lock nut on the back side. And we're going to leave this hardware loose until we have everything installed so we can make adjustments. Next, you'll want to have a friend help you set the windshield in place, and we're going to install the two M8 by 20 millimeter bolts on each side of the windshield through that L bracket, and then we have those flange nuts on the back side. After that, we're going to install the two hand knobs, but again, we're leaving these loose. And now that we have all the hardware loosely installed, we're going to adjust the windshield from side to side and get it centered. And then if you need to adjust the L brackets, you can go ahead and do that and get this thing where you want it for the best fitment. And then we're going to go through and tighten down all of the hardware. And it's the same thing with the filler panel. You want to adjust it side to side where you need it so you can remove and install the hand knobs easy, and then tighten down both of those bolts. And when you tighten these down, you always want to do the final tightening with the nut. Next, we need to install our standoff brackets. So I'm going to remove these knobs from the top. I'm going to flip them to the other side and screw in the standoff bracket so the rubber mount is facing towards the front of the machine when the windshield is folded down. And at this point, we need to put the brackets where we want them so they can rotate and they can also move side to side in that slot. So what I'm going to do now with the bracket in place, I'm going to mark around that edge there. We're going to do that in a couple spots. We could just mark the mounting holes, but this back one's kind of hard to reach. So I'm going to mark where the bracket goes and then go back in and mark both of these mounting holes before we drill anything out. Now we can take a 1/4 inch drill bit and drill the 4 mounting holes. Now we can take what should be the only 4 remaining bolts. We're going to go through the standoff brackets, through our mounting locations, and then we've got the washers and the nylock nuts on the back side. Now before we tighten the hardware down, we've got some slight adjustability with the brackets. So I'm going to fold the windshield down, make sure the holes line up with these brackets, and once I have everything where I want it, I'm going to tighten down the hardware. The last thing for the windshield is to make sure the hand knobs still work in the filler panel. Once you've done that, you can do the final tightening on the hardware in that filler panel. So that's it for the install process. If you have any questions, leave those down in the comments. And if you need to pick one of these up, they're available on our website. Just click the link in the description below. We offer free shipping on orders over $75. And if you want to see more helpful content like this, we have tons of how-to videos and spotlights on this KRX. So make sure you subscribe to our channel. I'm Charles with Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Thanks for watching.